Well, Burger King made a whopper of an announcement yesterday when it told the world it's going to move its headquarters to Canada after agreeing to buy Canadian coffee and donut chain Tim Hortons, which I love. The fast food giant claims the merger isn't an attempt to dodge American corporate taxes, but a lot of critics argue otherwise. And guess who helped fund Burger King's bolt across the border? President Obama's billionaire pal, Warren Buffett. Now, Buffett's move comes just 1 month after President Obama called such inversion tactics like this unpatriotic. That was awesome.
A small but growing group of big corporations are fleeing the country to get out of paying taxes. A loophole in our tax laws makes this totally legal, and I think that's totally wrong. I proposed closing this unpatriotic tax loophole for good.
Eric, so he says they're unpatriotic. Warren Buffett now making money off of an inversion when he's said in the past, recently on other cable channels, that he thinks inversions are crazy.
Okay, so Warren Buffett finally saw the light because Warren Buffett's in the business of making money. They're not tax inversions aren't unpatriotic. They're not loopholes. They're what people do. It's what companies and people do. You find the place where you're going to keep more of your own money. It's logical. The problem is Democrats think that if they don't pay, if the corporations don't pay higher taxes, they're going to have to make it up somehow by taxing the individuals more, and that's not the case. There are other things you can do. You can expand business. You can spend less. There are other things you can do. Look what New York does. New York advertises for tax havens. Bring your business to New York. We'll give you 1 or 2 years or 5 years, something like that, right. Tax holidays, and that entices businesses to come. So they themselves know, Andrew Cuomo, a Democrat from New York, knows that lower taxes draw businesses. Higher taxes push businesses away. At some point, the feds are going to figure it out. President Obama, by the way, never ran a business, has no business being in the business or commenting on what's patriotic or unpatriotic in business. It's free market capitalism.
I like this move. You know why? Because we need to learn. We're not getting it. So you know what, Buffett, go bang out the Burger King over in Canada, because maybe that's going to finally get the attention of this government, that they have to stop having these punitive taxes that are so excessive, because we're going to lose the business. And by the way, we should. Wake up, lower the tax rates, stop regulating so much so people can earn a buck and have some jobs in this country. This is what makes me mad. It's obvious that something should be done. So wake up and do it. Why are you going to penalize this guy? He has a fiduciary responsibility to his tax holders to get the most bang for the buck, and shareholders rather, to not have to overpay taxes, right? More money in their pockets. That's what he's doing.
I actually think his point when Warren Buffett weighed in on this was, it is crazy when you have a company that's going to jump through hoops to do all this crazy stuff to go overseas. They should be able to stay in this country, but instead they're running away from our economy instead of towards it. And Greg, Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown, he's got a brilliant idea. Let's punish them even further by boycotting Burger King.
I love it when people boycott something that they don't actually use. It's like a politician will never boycott a limousine car service, even if their fuel is children's tears. They will never do it. This is such a non-issue. You know, Hortons is a bigger company, so the little guy has to move to the big guy. That usually happens, and it's a bigger market. Canada is a bigger market for the combined company, and you always move where the bigger market is. That's common sense. So the tax thing, the change in tax rate is really small. It's 1 or 2%. So it's not even an issue, but they will make it an issue. Yeah. They will make it an issue, a political issue, but it's not.
Yeah, the Republicans will make it a political issue. The fact
I think they know the Democrats will.
But those percentages add up.
The corporate taxes in this country, there's more tax loopholes. Where they don't have to pay taxes, they pay taxes.
They pay 27%, Bob.
Yeah,
Burger King pays 20%. The corporate tax rate is 35%.
The corporate tax rate in the United States, it's higher. That's right, but they got more loopholes because they got all the big corporate raiders. But
just like people
all I
move
can say
to Florida.
Is, can I say one thing about my friend Warren Buffett? Can I just say one thing about Warren Buffett? Warren, I'm really sad that you have joined these unpatriotic son of a who have done this, and they have no reason to do it whatsoever, except that I've noticed there's a lot of companies moving from Europe and up in the United States.
Paying more tax than you have to is patriotic. That's patriotism.
Yeah.
Paying more than you have to.
That's called
more than you have to?
Yeah.
More than you should.
Yeah, so that's patriotic. Pay more than you have to or more than you should. Because that's what you're suggesting Burger King should do.
If we're up to you, tax should be zero.
But Bob, people and money move. People and money move. Kimberly mentioned Florida. When you create an environment that it's very easy to foster growth and jobs and profit, people will come there, but they're running in the opposite direction.
How many companies have gone overseas? Just out of curiosity.
We've been talking about this with Pfizer trying to buy AstraZeneca. Now that is that is rich because they pushed Obamacare on all of us.
Watch what happens.
This is why I want to move to the W.
A couple of companies
Miami.
tested the waters. It worked. They're not being penalized for it. Next thing you know,
this stuff has been around for a while.
This issue is great for liberals and left-wingers because it allows you to point fingers at corporations, which are always evil, as opposed to evil people. Like you can't, they would rather go after a large corporation than a terrorist group, even though corporations are actually decent people trying to make a living, and terrorists want to kill you.
That's what Mitt Romney said.
But they always know, they always exaggerate. They always say the threat of terror is exaggerated, while exaggerating the kind of the evil nature of corporations. If they just flipped it, they'd be right.
Until they need a campaign donation from them, then they're very willing to take the check from big business.
Wouldn't it be great if the gas companies, the coal companies, the electrical companies, the food companies decided to have a strike, a one-day strike, and just see how the government deals, the government made up of takers deals with the fact that the makers aren't doing anything for one day?
Well, here's a fact. There's been more tax breaks for corporations under the Obama administration than there have been punitive taxes. Period.
Well,
they always win.
Up to the podium
they have the Chamber of Commerce. Look, they do a great job. I give them credit. But corporations get more tax breaks than anybody else, and they have paid less taxes today than they did because of their big corporate tax breaks.
So why would you drop it? Why would New York and every other state say,
because
hey, come to Texas, come to Florida?
I'm agreeing with you.
Why would you entice people with a lower tax rate?
I think it makes sense. You've proven to me. I buy that. I buy that. If you have a lower tax rate, it makes sense to go there. But you could do that in the United States.
You know what? We got to get it together.
You don't have to go to Toronto.
We just do.
Food sucks.
We also got to go.
Okay.
Bye.